And so really what we're talking about is, when we're on that edge of breakthrough, when we're doing the things and something happens, and repeatedly. And so there's probably something in your life that you've been trying to break through, and somehow, if you're, and this is a funny thing too, right? People that are just living their life and aren't chasing something, aren't really trying to show up and have that purpose, there's a lot less resistance, right? Because if we stay where we are, and just kind of coast along and move at the speed at which things are moving around us, we don't experience that same resistance. We may get really uncomfortable there
Yeah,
and
that's
pushed
true.
into our purpose. But those of us that are going, man, I've got stuff to do here. I've got things to teach. I've got things to open up. I've got something to share. Like we go and go and go, and we move faster than the pace of other things around us. We're going to hit the resistance. We're going to hit our own roadblocks. We're going to hit our own experience of where we don't believe in ourselves. We're going to hit our old traumas. And so that congestion, like it's a great distinction you're making, Nick, because when we go after it, we get confronted with ourselves. And it often feels like getting confronted by things that are against us. And what I've found is the more we can hold ourselves in a higher space, upstream from those turds, upstream from, and, if you're not familiar with that term, basically the turds are our traumas, they're our coping mechanisms. They're the things that when we're downstream from, the stream's just contaminated. It doesn't matter how clear we try to be, like they're affecting our thinking and they're affecting our energy. They're affecting what feels available to us and doesn't feel available to us. And so when we're upstream from that, is, those are what the aligned living tools is a big part of this, is having that clarity. We move outside of the old container where it wasn't possible, and we move into a container where it is. And so often we go, God, I'm outside of the container. And then we realize, oh, I'm actually just in a lesser trauma or a more hidden trauma. And we find that resistance and we work through it. And maybe we confront these things inside of ourselves and work through those. And when we can move to that next level, now there's another level of freedom and another level of freedom. And so it's so, I hope this is something that people can wrap their heads around. It's not too far out there. But at the most basic level, it's saying when I am trying to do something and there's a part of me that's not rooting for me, there's a part of me that's in struggle with this, that's like has more than the 50%, like I'm going to call in all kinds of experiences to keep it from happening. If I can get myself just to 51%, I'm actually going to vote for me over the resistance, and I'm going to find a way through it. And I think it is that simple. But what does that look like to actually do and experience from a real concrete perspective?